Baseball Night in America brings us here to St. Louis on a beautiful Saturday evening here as the Washington Nationals are in town to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Game 2 of this 3-game series from Busch Stadium. Yeah, that's right. You got a baseball, you're FaceTiming. Tell everybody you're on TV. That's right. It's national. And hello there, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros. And speaking of the Nationals, they lost their leadoff hitter, Trey Turner, a couple days ago. But, EK, you look at their 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters, and this team has a foundation. They're going to be okay.
Yeah, when you talk about offense, especially in the National League, the Washington Nationals are right at the top. They lead all of the National League in on-base percentage, runs per game, and it's really because of these 4 men right here. You look at these guys, 4 players with 50 or more RBIs, the only team in baseball. The on-base percentage close to 400. You've got 2 left-handed hitters, 2 right-handed hitters. And when you're talking about OPS, that's slugging percentage and on-base percentage, they got 4 of the top 12 in all of baseball.
It's a big reason why many believe that this is the best year for the Nationals to get to the World Series. Now, as far as a team who's familiar with the World Series, that's the Cardinals. They have not played well this year, but entering tonight, they're just 2 games back of the loss column in the Central.
Yeah, it really is something, and they are still in the thick of this thing. Michael Wacha gets the ball tonight, and he's going to have to throw like he did in his last start. He was very effective. You see, going 6 innings, struck out 5. Previous to that, he had 6 starts where he threw 25 innings, 23 earned runs. He's got to throw like he did in his last outing.
It's not going to be an easy task on his birthday against this offense of the Nationals, but last night St. Louis won 8-1. The Nationals, with their high-powered offense, are here in St. Louis looking to even this series at 1 game apiece. You're watching Baseball Night in America on Fox. Flop at the top of the order tonight from last night. Michael A. Taylor will lead things off. Brian Goodwin bats second. Bryce Harper in the 3-hole, followed by Ryan Zimmerman. Daniel Murphy, Anthony Rendon, then Stephen Drew will play shortstop, bat 7th. Matt Wieters will catch and bat 8th. Gio Gonzalez will pitch and bat 9th, and they will face the right-hander Michael Wacha on his birthday. Number 26 for Michael Wacha. From Iowa on the season, 4-3, a 4.50 ERA, 28 walks, 68 strikeouts in 74 innings. And how about the scouting report on Wacha?
Well, he's got to throw that downward plane, and what I mean by that, it almost feels like the hitter, when he's up at the plate, that the guy is just coming straight off a cliff at him. Very difficult to hit. Second time through the order, hitters hit at a 350 clip. That has to change.
First pitch is down low with the fastball. Fouled away, 1 ball and 1 strike here to Taylor.
You know, Mike Matheny telling us prior to the game, we'll know if he's really got that downward angle by the changeup. If that changeup is down in the zone and the hitters are swinging and missing, he's got that plane. If it's up and they're making contact, going to have to make an adjustment.
Well, he got a fastball up and by Taylor, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Taylor on the season, 280, 11 home runs, and 33 RBIs.
You see, this is a good fastball up in the zone. You will notice we've got shadows tonight.
An earlier start time than normal here in the Central Time Zone.
Man, as a hitter, that is just a mess.
What
is it like?
Absolute
mess. You can't pick up spin. You just can't. I remember, you know, as a hitter, I was just hoping for a fastball. And then as a position player, when I'm standing at first base, if my pitcher was throwing anything other than breaking balls, I'm sitting there going, are you kidding me? The guys up at the plate can't see, just spin it.
Would you talk to your pitchers or your catchers to let them know that?
I did. I would. And they knew it. They knew it. But again, though, when you're out there pitching, sometimes you try and get smarter than everybody else. And it's when you get yourself into trouble.
Well, there's one that he spun. The appeal to first base, and Chris Siegel said he went around. First out is a strikeout for Michael Wacha. The defense for Wacha, he didn't need much defense on that one. In the outfield from left to right, Randall Grichuk, Tommy Pham, and Jose Martinez around the horn. In the infield, Luke Voigt is at first, getting the start there tonight. Alex Mejia at second, Paul DeYoung at short, Jed Jerko at third, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Brian Goodwin takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. Goodwin on the season, 269, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs. Was 1 for 4 last night leading off for the Nats, and he pulls one foul. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, and there was a question when Turner goes down, who fills that leadoff spot? And there was even some discussion about Rendon moving up to that #1 position. You know, one of the problems with that, though, is then who protects Murphy or who protects the core of the lineup. You know, after a lot of thought, Dusty feels like this is the way to go right now. He wants to keep those 4 guys in the middle of the lineup together. Here's Dusty.
You know him pretty well, don't you?
I had an opportunity to play for him in Chicago for 1 season, and I had a relationship with him for many years. He was always across the diamond in the Giant uniform as a coach or manager while I was in LA. One of the best there is in the game.
It seems like everybody who plays for him loves playing for him.
Well, he hasn't forgotten what it's like to be a player, and realizes how tough it is and some of the things you have to go through.
There's that changeup, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts to open up the ball game for Wacha.
But we talk about, there's the changeup, and look at the location. It's down in the zone. This is exactly what Mike Matheny was talking about in our meeting. If that ball is down, if he is low in the zone, especially with that changeup, getting that downward drive, he's going to be effective.
Well, up comes Bryce Harper, the guy who had a down year last year after his MVP season in 2015, and he has come back with a vengeance here in 2017. He takes the first pitch fastball for a strike at 95. The MVP in 15, 330, 42, and 99. Last year at 243. And look at his numbers already in 2017.
And I think you talk about last year, and I don't think there's any question that he was battling some physical ailments. And, you know, he wasn't going to let on or use that as an excuse. Went out and played as often as he could. But I do believe that the shoulder was giving him a lot of trouble.
0-2, able to lay off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 98 on the gun for Michael Wacha.
Yeah, he's getting it up there. And you know, we talk about his troubles the second time through the lineup. That first time through, guys are hitting under 200. Very effective.
Harper able to spoil it. It's not too often you get guys live up to the hype. Bryce Harper has lived up to the hype. Think about this. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a 16-year-old. #1 pick. Curveball pulled foul. Stays 1-2. And you think about all that has been done. All the talk around baseball this year. Aaron Judge in New York with the Yankees leads Major League Baseball with 27 home runs. He's older than Bryce Harper is. Think about that.
No, it's crazy. You talk about he and obviously Mike Trout and what they've done, what they've accomplished. And again, they've been around 5-6 years.
Reaches one out to center field. There's Pham and a 1-2-3 inning for Wacha here in the first. Gio Gonzalez will take the mound in the bottom half of the inning. Tonight against Gio Gonzalez, Tommy Pham will lead things off, followed by Randall Grichuk. Jose Martinez bats third. Jed Jerka will clean things up. Yadier Molina with a 15-game hitting streak will bat fifth. Luke Voigt bats sixth. Paul DeYoung, Alex Mejia, and Michael Wacha, the bottom third of the order, to face the left-hander Gio Gonzalez. 7-2 on the season, a 2.87 ERA. Off to a great start this year for the Nationals. 45 walks, 95 strikeouts in 103rd innings. And what can we look for from Gio?
Well, he's got to be able to control the curveball. I mean, that's been his pitch. When he uses it, he is great. Give them some length. You know, one of the troubles has been 5 innings, maybe into the 6th inning. Dusty would love to see him get into the 7th or 8th, especially with the troubles in that bullpen.
Tommy Pham, 289, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs. Fouls it back, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tommy Pham, how about the Sox here on the holiday weekend?
Those are sweet. I got to say, those are sweet. Gone are the days when socks were supposed to match, though, right?
I was going to say, my only question is, how do you know which leg or which foot to put the sock on?
Wait, you're telling me that your socks have to go on, there's a left foot and a right foot?
Some socks do have that.
I know,
yeah.
come on. As long as you got 5 toes on each, you're in business.
In foul territory, Rendon over by the wall, goes over the railing. And Rendon says he got it. Stephen Drew comes up hobbling. The third base umpire, Mark Carlson, says he's out.
That's a heck of a catch by Rendon. He stays with it, and just for good measure, Drew tries to almost like knock it out of his glove or something. He's going to tackle him. I mean, look at this. Stephen Drew over there trying to help out, but seems to pour salt on the wound right here. That's a great play by Rendon.
Wow.
Look at this. Drew's just going to make sure he plants him in there.
That ball looked like it was going to reach the seats easily off the bat.
You know, and it's funny because we spoke with Dusty prior to the game, and he mentioned that he felt Anthony Rendon is the second best third baseman in the National League, right behind the Colorado Rockies, Arenado.
Yep.
I mean, it is. He doesn't get the recognition. I mean, he really doesn't. But Dusty says when you see him play day in and day out, I said, really better than Chris Bryant? He says, yes, yes. Especially with the leather.
So one away now for Randall Grichuk. And there's the first pitch curveball from Gonzalez to Grichuk. One ball and one strike. Grichuk also wearing the socks. Missing inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Randall Grichuk, everyone knows he was sent all the way down to A ball. Fouled back. Speaking with Mike Matheny, though, he said it wasn't because it was a punishment. He just said he needed to work on stuff, and it's so hard to work on things at the big league level. He says nobody will ever tell me. As long as this kid is here, I believe he is going to be a superstar. His tools are that good. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Grichuk does not agree with it. Manny Gonzalez rings him up. First strikeout for Gio Gonzalez.
This is a great pitcher's pitch, but I think it's off the plate. Grichuk doesn't like it. It's got to be 2 or 3 inches off. You know, and that's one of the things when you're up there, you try. I mean, not that he's struggling because he's been good since he's been back, but you're up there battling, and man, you just hate to have a call like that go against you.
2 away now for Jose Martinez. 279, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. He takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Martinez getting the start. Piscotty getting the night off. Carpenter getting the night off. And that's low and outside, 1-1. Breaking ball. 1-2 the count here to Martinez. The umpires for tonight's game: Manny Gonzalez behind the plate, Chris Siegel at first, Fieldon Colbreth is the crew chief at second, Mark Carlson at third. And the 1-2 from Gonzalez misses up high, 2-2.
Well, you got to think right now he's going to come with the curveball. Got the shadows. That's his pitch right now. There it is.
And there's a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gio Gonzalez, but he got some help from Anthony Rendon to open up the inning, going into the stands to make the catch. Michael Wacha's rookie year, 8 2/3, 1 hit, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts against these Nats. He took the mound in the 9th inning, 2 outs. He had the no-hitter going. And then this would have been the final out. A little dribbler by Ryan Zimmerman beats it out for the infield single. Otherwise, he had a no-hitter. That's how close he was to a no-hitter. Michael Wacha back in 2013, and now Ryan Zimmerman. Talk about a resurgence. 339, 19 home runs, 62 RBIs. Lines one to right field. Jose Martinez is there in the sun to make the catch. Our player stat brought to you by Just for Men Auto Stop, Comb Away Gray. The numbers for Daniel Murphy on the road this season: best in the bigs, 376 batting average away from Nationals Park.
Yeah, really made himself into a fine hitter, and just really tough to pitch to. I mean, when you look at the stance, how he attacks everything in the zone, just really not an opportunity to go after him.
In the air to right center, and that one's tracked down by Pham, 2 away. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Sprint. Works for me. 2 away here in the second. And Anthony Rendon will step to the plate. We saw Rendon make that nice play to open up the bottom half of the first, and Rendon taking his time after 2 quick outs to open up the inning. Rendon, 295, 16 home runs, 50 RBIs. We saw the numbers in the open for 3, 4, 5, 6. Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon. It's as good as you will see in baseball. It's as good you've seen in quite some time in baseball.
Well, it really is. And, you know, you look at these guys, you know, Zimmerman, you didn't really see that coming. I know that he was hurt last year, but he's been absolutely on fire. The slugging percentage well over 600. And then the rest of the guys, I mean, Rendon, you know, he was just kind of, you know, I don't want to say puttering along, but that's what it was. And then he has that big game, that 10 RBI game, and it's just been lights out. You got to remember, a few years ago, he was the best player on this team. There's no question about it. Been beset by injuries, and just, you know, he hasn't continued that upswing. But this year, again, since that game, he's been as good as there is.
The 1-2 by Wacha. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, he and Murphy do not strike out a lot. Again, for guys that are slugging like they have been. Rendon, very handsy, as Dusty Baker likes to describe. Can fight pitches off.
Now he's worked the count full. Down the right field line, giving chase Martinez, and that will go into the seats. And alertly, Martinez slid. We saw the gruesome injury the other night in Chicago by Dustin Fowler for the Yankees, making his major league debut.
You know, one of the reasons guys slide, obviously, for those at home, just to cut down on the momentum. I mean, easier to slide instead of just running right into a fence. You slide, you go feet first into the thing. Protect yourself.
3-2 lined into right field. Rendon, he'll head for second. And he will be in there with a 2-out double. That's his 18th double of the year and the first hit of the game for the Nationals.
Good flat out hit. That pitch on the outer part of the plate, maybe even off the plate. Rendon does a nice job of throwing his hands out there, taking that line drive to right. You know, that sort of approach really excites Dusty. He's a guy that, again, continues to battle up at the plate, fights pitches off, fouls pitches off, and then gets the job done.
Now Stephen Drew at the plate with 2 outs, runner in scoring position, 321, a home run, 15 RBIs in limited time. He'll take the first pitch on the inside corner, first strike. Stephen Drew will see more time now with Trey Turner on the DL with that broken wrist.
But even with Stephen Drew, you know, Dusty's going to have to pick his spots. He's going to have to keep him rested as well.
Ground ball to second. Alex Mejia gobbles it up, and that'll do it. The Nats will leave a runner in scoring position. We head to the bottom half of the second. No score here in St. Louis. Is sponsored by E-Trade. E-Trade, the original place to invest online. And Play Ball is Major League Baseball's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. For more, go to playball.org. Bottom half of the second, Jed Jerko takes the first pitch curveball from Gio Gonzalez, first strike. Beautiful night for baseball here in St. Louis. Jed Jerko batting cleanup here for the Cardinals. Fastball in underneath the hands. Quickly 0-2. The numbers on Jerko this year.
Yeah, really having
a
nice season, really is. I mean, and this is a guy that, you know, was going to battle for a job this year as far as, is he going to be an everyday guy? Is he going to be a platoon guy? Or is he and Colton Wong? And he just outright won it.
In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Acquired in a trade for John Jay from the Padres back in 2015. I mean, this was a guy the Padres had signed to a big deal. And then it looked like he was just lost. 2-2, center field. Taylor going back, reaches up to make the catch for the first out. There's no doubt that Jed Jerko has found himself a nice home here in St. Louis.
Well, he's getting an opportunity to play. He's got confidence from management, from his manager Mike Matheny, and of course a great city to play baseball in.
One away now for Yadier Molina. 15-game hitting streak for Molina. 271, 9 home runs, 35 RBIs. .328 average over this 15-game hitting streak, 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Now 3 balls and no strikes.
Molina signed to that multi-year deal that will probably make him a Cardinal for life.
A 4-pitch walk to Molina, first base runner of the game for the Cardinals. Luke Voit coming up, 3 for 6 in the big leagues. Made his major league debut last Sunday against the Pirates as a pinch hitter. The St. Louis native got a standing ovation, and what happens? He got himself a bruise.
They got drilled. I think they gave him the ball too. Even at, you know, it's literally that's your first hit, right?
First pitch rips one. There's Rendon at third to second for 1. They won't turn the double play, but there is the glove work by Anthony Rendon. He just took a hit away from Luke Voit.
Now, we talked about the defense a bit earlier, and here Rendon again shows off his ability. Quick first step, able to gather his feet, get the ball over to Murphy at second. Man, as a hitter, it's the worst. You're down there, man, I just hit the ball as hard as I could. Did it at the big league level, and I got nothing for it.
Now Paul DeJong, 277, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs in just 27 games. And the first pitch curveball spins in for a strike. DeJong playing short. Aledmus Diaz, he was sent down. And part of the shakeup for these Cardinals. And that's when we say it's been such a weird year for the Cardinals. Entering tonight's game 38-41. Not used to the Cardinals being in this position, but again, just 2 games back in the loss column of the first place Brewers in the NL Central.
Well, again, it's not because the Cardinals are playing good baseball that they're only 2 out. This division has been lackluster, to say the least. A lot of parity, and quite frankly, a bunch of 500 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's going to separate themselves? That's still up for debate.
Many people thought the Cubs would be the team to run away with it this year once again in the Central. They haven't done it. They're 3 games back of the Brewers.
I mean, look at Craig Counsell's done a nice job up in Milwaukee. I mean, he's got some nice pitching. The end of the game has been solved for them. They've got some guys that have been swinging the bats well. Ryan Braun and Jonathan VR have just returned from the disabled list. So, you know, the longer they stay in it, and look at, you're into July now, you start thinking, you know what, I am that good.
Mm-hmm.
This team is that good. And quite frankly, why can't we win it?
Up high, 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Paul DeJong.
And Paul DeJong hit over 100 at-bats, has only walked 1 time this year. So if he does draw a walk, it'll be something to see.
Well, that was a problem for Gio Gonzalez in his last start. 5 walks in 6 innings. Runner takes off, backdoor breaking ball misses, and there's the second walk of the inning and the second walk for Paul DeJong this year.
I think right there, that's very telling. What pitch did he go with on the 3-2 count? He goes with the curveball. Feels more comfortable with that. Feels like he can control that more. Not a bad pitch, but not good enough, according to Manny Gonzalez.
So first and second. Two away, and Alex Mejia. And the fastball misses for ball 1. Just 0 for 3 so far this year is Mejia, the 26-year-old.
You know, one of the things we talked about at the top of the show with Gio Gonzalez is his ability to give some length to Dusty Baker and the Nationals. You know, get into that 6th or 7th inning. And what we're seeing right here are the reasons why he hasn't been able to do that. The pitch count gets elevated. Goes 2-2, 3-2 with guys. You know, Yadier Molina gets a 4-pitch walk. You know, he just needs to be more pitch efficient.
Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. You got the fly out by Jerko to lead off the inning. Walked Yadier Molina on 4 pitches. The great play by Rendon to get the fielder's choice at second. Then a walk to DeYoung after he was ahead in the count. And now he's behind in the count. 2 balls and a strike to Mejia. And there he goes behind in the count to the breaking ball.
Again, you can tell that's what he's most comfortable with. The thing, you know, again, what I'm not excited about is the amount of pitches he's taken with each hitter. You know, at this rate, you're looking at maybe 5 innings.
Misses up high with the fastball. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
What did you say? He's what? 3 and 2?
Yeah, and the way that he's been throwing, you almost think he's coming back with a curveball. He said it looks like he's, like you said, had more confidence with the curveball than with anything else.
Yeah, and remember, he doesn't have to lay one in there. You got Michael Wacha on deck.
Runners go, not a curveball, it's a fastball, base hit to center. Here comes Taylor, the throw comes to third, and they've got the runner hung up, but nobody's at the bag. First major league hit for Alex Mejia is an RBI single. They had DeYoung held up between second and third, but nobody was covering at first.
A couple of mistakes here. I'm not sure why you go with the fastball right down the middle on a 3-2 pitch. You got the runners moving. Michael Wacha, the pitcher, is on deck. He's coming up next. And Taylor does a nice job of trying to get the runner at third. And he does a good job, the runner, of not getting tagged out. And the reason why, he wants to make sure that they score at home plate. So he stops, makes sure the runner scores. He gets in a rundown, nobody at second. I didn't like the pitch selection there, especially with Michael Wacha on deck. I didn't like it.
So Voit scores the run. DeYoung avoids getting tagged out on the bases. An RBI single for Mejia, 2 away, and Michael Wacha at the plate.
Really a great job by DeYoung stopping and not being tagged out by Rendon at third. Very heads up.
His first career hit, first career RBI. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whose responsibility was it to be there at the bag at second base?
Well, Murphy's got to read that, right? So initially, the first thing is you go run behind first. That's the automatic thing. But you've always got to have vision of what's going on the field.
And Wacha strikes out to end the inning. But the Cardinals do get a run in the inning on the first career hit for Alex Mejia. 1-0. Cardinals now lead the Nationals after the Cards won last night 8-1. That's a look from Ballpark Village here at Busch Stadium. That's inside of Ballpark Village. Wave, you're on TV. Hello there, everybody.
Really is a great setup. The St. Louis organization's done a nice job of just creating a great atmosphere down and around this ballpark.
Those seats are across the way. They look like they're just part of this stadium. It is so cool. Matt Wieters will lead things off here in the third. 248, 7 home runs, and 31 RBIs. A switch hitting catcher takes the first pitch for a strike. Waves at that changeup. 0-2.
Walker, a nice job of staying out there. That part of the plate, Manny Gonzalez has been calling for a strike. Gio Gonzalez has been getting that pitch inside to righties. You got to stay out there again.
He does stay out there high and outside with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wieters.
Got him set up now for a changeup down and away.
That's where he misses. 2-2. Goes right back to it and gets strikeout number 3. Well, Monday night, Hoops is on FS1. Can Allen Iverson get hot and lead Three's Company to victory over Mike Bibby and the Ghost Ballers? The Big Three continues Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on FS1. It's coming to you from my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. One away now for Gio Gonzalez. How's that first pitch fastball straight back? Gio, one of those rare pitchers who bats from the other side that he throws from. There have been some good ones, though, who have done that. And he just looks at strike 3, back-to-back strikeouts for Wacha, now 4 in the ballgame.
Well, first time through, Michael Wacha has looked like Michael Wacha, and that's just dominant. Fastball, he's got up to 96. The changeup is down in the zone. But this is where things start to get interesting, right? That second time through. This is where he's had struggles.
First pitch strike there from Wacha to Michael A. Taylor, and that was a nice job framing by Yadier Molina. Just quickly moved that glove.
Well, the last 8 hitters, he's been first pitch strike. Always helps work ahead.
He's just pouring that fastball in.
I mean, it really is. I mean, he's working both sides of the plate. The changeup is working. I mean, he's hitting corners. That's right at the knees.
Went with a changeup down low. Was trying to strike out the side here in the third.
Well, he went back-to-back changeup with Wieters. Almost got to think he'll come right back with it. That looks like it.
Fouled back, stays 2-2.
With the fastball, 97 miles an hour.
Back up the middle, and that'll be a base hit for Taylor. Takes a wide turn at first. He'll hold up there. A 2-out single for Taylor here in the third.
This pitch trying to come in, doesn't get in enough, but still a pretty decent pitch. Taylor just fights it off and just gets it past DeYoung.
By the way, I mean, we haven't even talked about the job that Taylor has done in center field. Adam Eaton, the Nats acquired him in the offseason. They thought he was going to be their center fielder for the year, the leadoff hitter. He goes down for the year, and Michael Taylor has come in and just done a phenomenal job for them.
He really has. He settled in. He started off kind of rough, and still the strikeouts are up. You'd like to see that change a bit, especially with his speed, but done a great job, added to this offense.
Goodwin struck out his first time up. A look back at Taylor, who's 9 of 12 in stolen bases on the season. That's what's impressive about this Nats team. You lost Adam Eaton, who was your leadoff guy. Now you've lost Trey Turner, who was your leadoff guy. You've lost 2 leadoff batters this year. High and outside, 1-1.
Well, not to mention Jason Worth, too. He's been down.
The bullpen, an issue from the get-go, but Sean Kelly, Coda Glover, those 2 guys, key injuries in the pen. There's no secret about the Nationals this year. With the trade deadline coming at the end of this month, this now being July 1st, everyone knows they're going to have to address that back end of the bullpen. Two balls and 1 strike to Goodwin.
Well, I think everybody knew they had to address the bullpen in November, and they made a concerted effort. They went after Kenley Jansen, Holland in Colorado. I mean, the effort was there. Just weren't able to sign these guys, and you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to dollars. And, you know, the organization can do so much, but ownership, you know, at some point, we're either in or we're out. And I think this year with this ball club, I mean, they really are a closer away from a lot of people saying, okay, yes, you are a legitimate World Series winner.
Taylor takes off 2-2, called strike 3. That doesn't matter. 5 strikeouts through 3 innings for Michael Wacha, and the Cardinals lead 1-0. Here in St. Louis, the Cardinals lead the Nationals 1-0. Justin Kutcher, Eric Karros here up in the booth. We're joined down in the dugout by Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals, and he is getting already bombarded by his teammates with sunflower seeds. And Adam, we appreciate you taking the time here as Tommy Pham leads things off against Gio Gonzalez.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, just first things first, just the thoughts on the first 3 innings of what you've seen from Michael Wacha.
He's looking great. I mean, you know, he's working the ball down the zone, and when Mikey's working knees and below, he's got that incredible downhill angle that it's really hard to square up. And he's a quality big league pitcher. Obviously, with that height he's coming in there, he's really coming in from a lot taller than he actually is with the arm slot he comes in with. So, man, I just stay right there. I told him after last start, just stay right there because it's really hard to hit that stuff in its knees coming from that angle.
I'm just impressed by Dexter Fowler
I was
right now.
I was going to ask you, what has the signing of Dexter Fowler meant to this organization?
Dexter says, "Hey, everybody." you might have heard that, actually. You probably did. He's just making sure that, you know, I keep in line with Cardinal traditions and answering these questions, you know, successfully, but also, you know, confidently.
Bryce Harper makes the play out there in right field.
We got to be almost out of seats.
I would think so.
Adam, in all seriousness, why do you guys feel like you can win this division? I mean, at this point right now, I mean, nobody's run away with it, but
I think if you ask anybody in this division, they all think they can win this division because, thank you, I was feeling a little parched. Everybody's so close. I mean, you know, everybody's talking about the mediocrity of the Central. I think what it is actually is just a lot of very even teams. And nobody obviously is doing great, and nobody's running away with it. But obviously, also nobody's stinking it up. And so even the very tough, the Reds right now, who are at the bottom of the division, they have a very, very tough lineup. They have some tough pitchers on that team. You do not want to be behind in that game going down the stretch with those relief pitchers the way they got it going over there. So they got some quality teams. We're going to be battling this whole year. But you know what? I really like our squad with where we're headed. We started off very badly. Do you agree? Yeah, we did. And we started off 3-9, and then we had some stretches in between where it was just as bad or maybe even worse than when we started. But, yeah, we still found a way to kind of claw back. We're getting close to 500 again, which is nothing we like to brag about, but from where we came from, you know, it's not that bad. So in our division right now, I think we're 3.5 or 3 games back. Anything is possible. We got a lot of baseball yet to play. We got some good quality guys on this team that believe. Some guys on this team that have won championships, have been through thick and thin, deep into the postseason. Guys that have that experience are always dangerous.
All right, so there's 2 strikes right now on the batter, Jose Martinez, and I'm trying to give you a chance to brag right now. I'm just hoping Martinez gets a base hit or extends this at bat, because I want to talk about your hitting prowess.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I want to talk about your first major league home run, and to see if we have time for you to tell everybody the story of how that actually happened.
Yeah, so we had a bullpen start that day, and it was in San Francisco. It was my one of my first games. I think it was in May 24th. I believe it was my wife's birthday, so that's why I remember it. Go out to pitch the middle part of the innings. We had bullpen day. Brad Thompson started. I came in behind him, and Tony came to me between the innings and said, "Hey, that was good. You're good. We're going to get somebody else in here to hit."
Go for it.
Anyways, he told me, "Hey, you're not hitting." Then the last second, he changed his mind, and he sent me up there to hit. I had no practice swings. I don't even know if I had my own batting gloves on. I hit it out. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Event. Thanks. We appreciate it.
Give me some. Teamwork.
By BMW, we only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. And by Cricket Wireless, something to smile about. Top of the 4th inning here in St. Louis. It is 1-0. Cardinals over the Nationals. Something to smile about. Bryce Harper will lead things off here in the 4th for the Nats. We're joined in the dugout by the ace of the Nationals rotation, Max Scherzer. And the first pitch to Harper is a ground ball. Nice stop by Mejia. Gets to his feet and throws to Waka for the out.
Nice play right there.
See, look at that. Max Scherzer, not biased at all, can say nice play when he sees one. And that was a nice play. Well, Max, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here. You grew up just outside of St. Louis. You're getting the start here tomorrow night. What is it like for you to come back and pitch here? You went to college at Missouri and come back and pitch here in St. Louis.
It's cool. You know, I got a bunch of family and friends who want to come out and watch me throw. And you know, for me pitching St. Louis, it's a cool experience. But at the same time, I'm ready to beat these guys.
As Ryan Zimmerman steps in.
How do you draw that level of intensity, especially, you know, when you're out on the mound? I mean, you can see yourself, you're talking to yourself, you're yelling sometimes. I mean, what place do you have to go to get there?
Oh, I mean, it's just competing. I mean, I just love going out there and competing and, you know, facing the best players in the world. You know, when you face the best, you got to that brings the best out of yourself. And so for me, when I pitch my best, I pitch with a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion, and go out there and compete as hard as I can.
Were you always like that? I mean, were you out there at Little League yelling and screaming at yourself, or what? I mean, when did that start?
I mean, I've always been an intense player, even in the other sports I played growing up. But that's just been a product of my environment. Even you know, throughout all the levels I played at, you know, around the areas coming up through, that I've always played with a bunch of intense guys. So those guys have just rubbed off on me.
Called strike 3 against Zimmerman. He doesn't like the call. And that's the 6th strikeout of the game already for Michael Wacha.
Inside? I can't see it.
Yeah, that pitch almost felt like it was a bit low right there, but again, Wacha getting the benefit of that call right there.
Yeah, it's inside.
That's career strikeout number 500 for Michael Wacha. Ties Steve Carlton for the 2nd fastest to 500 in Cardinals history. Well, speaking of 2nd fastest, how about 3rd fastest to 2,000 strikeouts? That's the guy we're talking to in Max Scherzer. Max, one thing I've kind of marveled at and I want to ask you is, when you first came up with Arizona and then got traded to Detroit, one of the issues was length for you. You would go to 6 innings but have trouble going further in games. How did you evolve as a pitcher to go deeper and deeper into games to where you are now?
I just got more efficient with striking guys out. You know, when you go into games, you know, you're focused on how you're going to get other guys out and what's the out pitch going to be. And I just got better at finishing guys off in the sequences and the 3 or 4 pitches, instead of, you know, having the long at bats, going to 3-2 counts, and then, you know, eventually however the at bat ends. I just got better at locating pitches and locating off-speed pitches so that I can collect the weak contact and the strikeouts whenever I needed to.
Quick question: the middle of your lineup having a great year, who would you not want to face on your team?
Murphy seems like he presented a lot of problems. He covers a lot of pitches. He's got his whole air ball thing out. He really knows what he's doing.
Hey, Max, we appreciate the time. Good luck tomorrow night.
All right, thanks.
We are through 3.5 here in St. Louis. 1-0 Cards. First pitch to Jerko, ground to Rendon, bobbles it, gets up and throws in time to still get him. And that's Rendon showing off the cannon. Let's see if Matheny wants to take a look to see if they're going to challenge.
Interesting here, Rendon knocks it down, and what he should have done is picked it up barehanded. Instead, he picks it up with the glove, makes a transfer, and does he get him? I think he gets him. Just gets him.
One away for Yadier Molina. One more look at it. Yep, he's out. Molina to left field, and that's a 16-game hitting streak, the longest active streak in the majors. A 3-year, $60 million extension signed through 2020. He just keeps on doing it.
Going after that first pitch down in the zone. Molina does a nice job. Remember, Voit last at bat hit an absolute rocket to Rendon over at third base.
The 16-game hitting streak for Yadier Molina ties his career high. He's on at first with one out for Luke Voit. Voit ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Gio Gonzalez already at 57 pitches. Good off-speed pitch, 2-1. We mentioned how Voit in his major league debut got hit by a pitch. Yesterday saw him in the clubhouse, shirt off in the welt on his back. Different colors of purple.
Sure that wasn't a muscle? As big as this guy is?
And I'm just thinking, oh, that cannot feel good. Was working out yesterday at first base, getting the start there tonight. Takes the pitch on the outside corner, first strike, 2-2.
See, the shadows are no longer in play.
He goes down swinging, off speed pitch by Gonzalez, 2 away. The can't miss event of the summer hits South Beach when baseball's biggest stars take the field for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, July 11th, only on Fox. The All-Star Game balloting the leaders as of Monday. See a few Nats in there: Harper, Murphy, Zimmerman. How about Zach Cozart at shortstop?
He's having a great year in Cincinnati. Still partial to Seager over in LA. There's Bryce Harper, Murph. That first base spot is crowded. Zimmerman having a great year. Goldschmidt, Votto. Heck, Mark Reynolds in Colorado.
Yadier Molina was getting a big lead. Looked like he was trying to go. And Gio stepped off. Well, hello.
That's the only way he's going to
season.
get. Well, he's got to sneak him, right? He's not going to outrun anybody.
5 of 7 in stolen bases, so he will take off when given the opportunity. If you're not paying attention, he'll go. Paul DeYoung walked his first time up and had great base running. Avoided getting thrown out at third base to end the second inning. Was able to get back to second with nobody covering. 1-2. Tell you what, coming here to St. Louis, July 1st, you can't ask for better weather.
No, you really can't. And I was honestly a little concerned about the heat. But it's beautiful.
Breaking ball misses up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes here to DeYoung.
This place used to be AstroTurf as well, the old stadium. You talk about heat. I mean, the stuff coming off the turf would be 120, 130. Beautiful ballpark here.
Another curveball misses outside. 3-2. Gio Gonzalez had a really good feel for that curveball early in this game. And now here in this 4th inning seems to have lost the feel just a bit.
And what's the count?
3-2.
3-2. I mean, it just, the pitch efficiency is what limits his length.
There goes Molina, and DeYoung fouls it back. Be honest, when you're on first base in a full count, how annoyed would you be if a batter kept on fouling it off and you're going every pitch?
Well, 1 or 2 isn't bad, but when you started getting to the 4 and 5, you know that break off of first wasn't as good as it was early.
Ground ball to shortstop. Drew handles it, throws to first, and that'll do it here in the 4th. We head to the 5th in St. Louis. It's still 1-0 Cardinals. Happy birthday, Michael Wacha, his 26th birthday. And so far, so good. 6 strikeouts through 4 innings for Wacha. His team leads 1-0. Giving up 2 hits so far. And he'll face Anthony Rendon, Stephen Drew, Matt Wieters here in the 5th inning. Rendon, one of the 2 hits, a double to right field his first time up. Starts him off with a curveball.
And a real nice at-bat. Fouled off a few pitches and then took that pitch on the outside part of the plate and shot it into the right field corner.
shoots it the other way again, but this time it's foul.
Almost the same approach. Just lets the ball travel, gets almost into the catcher's glove, and just uses his hands to shoot it out to right. See everybody excited to be at the ballpark.
Dusty Baker said it. FP Santangelo, the TV analyst for the Nats, said what Rendon does so incredibly well is he can foul pitches off at the last second, looking as if they're in the catcher's mitt, and he's able to spoil them.
Well, a very handsy hitter. What I mean by that, there's not a lot of body movement. Has the ability to stay back and just kind of flick his hands at the last minute. See it back there, and then bam. Again, he's fouling balls to left field. He's shooting them down the right field. He's got complete plate coverage.
Lays off that breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And with the quickness of his hands, what that allows him to do is to see the pitch for a longer period. He doesn't have to commit as earlier. And anytime you can let the ball travel, you can see the ball longer, it enables you to make better decisions.
Three balls and 2 strikes here to Rendon, leading off the 5th. Down the right field line, that'll find the seats. We'll do it again at 3-2. It's always cool coming here to Busch Stadium. It's always a sea of red.
Well, even more so in this series, right?
Yeah.
I was walking around town the other day, and I saw the red shirts, and then they turned around and it says Nationals on them.
Rendon asks for time. He gets it. The Nats have lost 2 in a row. The Cardinals have won 3 in a row and 5 of 6. 3-2 back into right center fields, and Rendon is 2 for 2. We'll watch the greatest names in golf tee off at Salem Country Club for the final round of the U.S. Senior Open tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern on your local Fox station, or you can watch it all live on Fox Sports Go. It's a nice leaderboard. Kirk Triplett, a 1-shot lead over Kenny Perry, Brant Jobe, Freddie Couples, Tom Lehman. How about Steve Flesh at 65 in the 3rd round today? That'll be fun to watch tomorrow. Stephen Drew at the plate, grounded out to second his first time up.
It'll be interesting to see how he adapts to playing every day. I mentioned he's battled some injuries over the years. I think Washington, though, is content with what they have. They'll take x-rays of Trey Turner's wrist in a few weeks to see how that's been progressing. But I wouldn't expect them to go out and make a move.
I agree with you, because you've got an 8.5 game lead entering tonight in the NL East.
Well, and whatever resources you have, you're going to have to focus on the back end of the bullpen.
One ball, 2 strikes to Drew. And he went with a changeup, and he got him. Strikeout number 7 for Waka.
Well, just as Mike Matheny had hoped for prior to the game, that changeup down in the zone. Couldn't be any more down right there without hitting the ground. Great location. Got Waka on a changeup on the outer part of the plate in his last at-bat.
Matt Wieters takes the first pitch for a ball. Wieters struck out his first time up. Ground ball, second base. This should be 2. It is an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. The leadoff single amounts to nothing for the Nationals. We head to the bottom half of the 5th, 1-0 St. Louis. Guest is sponsored by Budweiser, proudly brewed across America. This Bud's for you. Here we are back in St. Louis at Busch Stadium, 1-0 bottom half of the 5th inning. The Cardinals lead the Nationals as Alex Mejia will lead things off against Gio Gonzalez. And we're joined up here in the booth now by the new president of baseball operations for the Cardinals, John Mozeliak. And John, congratulations on the new title.
Well, thank you. It's exciting time for all of us here in St. Louis, and we're certainly excited about giving Mike Gersh new opportunities as general manager. And for me, it's really about trying to focus on where the Cardinals want to be in the next 3 to 4 years. And you know, you think about all the things that's happening in baseball and how quickly things are moving. Innovation and creativity is something that we really want to focus on.
How close are you to where you want to be in the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, I would say over the last 4 or 5 that my focus has really been on sort of like keeping the trains on time and keeping that running, and we've sort of gotten away from some trying to move the needle forward, and I think, you know, now with this new setup and this opportunity to do so, I think we'll be able to get back on track. Now we're in a good spot. Our farm system is very strong. Our amateur department does a great job in the draft, and I do think there's things that we've done very well, but you know, you look at the landscape of baseball, it's very competitive. Everybody is trying to find that niche or competitive advantage against each other, and I really think we need to focus on that.
Here we are in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Mejia had his first major league hit and first major league RBI his first time up. Now a ground ball to shortstop. Stephen Drew makes the play. 1 away here in the 5th. You talk about this team, and we were talking with your manager Mike Matheny before the game. It's no secret you'd say you guys haven't played the way you would have liked so far this year, but entering tonight's game just 2 games back in the loss column in the NL Central. And Mike even said the last couple of days we're starting to play the way that we should be playing. What's your take on it?
Well, I would agree. This has been a turbulent season for us in many reasons. And, when you look at our record, I think, we are where we are for a reason. But there have been some signs of things turning around for us. Clearly when you look at how our offense is playing, starting pitching's been strong throughout the season. Bullpen's had its ups and downs. But, the overall narrative is we haven't played as well as we want to. And, I think we've injected some youth into this lineup over the last week and a half, and I think you're starting to see a little bit more bounce in our player steps, and I think that's positive.
Just saw a shot of the new general manager, Michael Gersh, as you were promoted to the president of baseball operations. Michael Gersh was promoted to vice president and general manager here of the Cardinals. It is remarkable, and you mentioned it about the farm system and how you guys have been able to build and sustain the farm system throughout. And Mike was even saying you bring guys up, you send guys down, you bring guys up. Last year, I mean, he said it's almost like you got last year's Memphis team up here, and yet you're still doing it.
Well, when you think about why you have a farm system, it's always about having that pipeline fill your major league team. And, this past year we were pretty aggressive in the free agent market when we went out and signed Brett Cecil and obviously adding Dexter Fowler. But for us to be competitive in our division and in our league, we need to be able to produce our own players. And I think you're seeing a lot of other teams sort of follow that model, and that's why you're also seeing a lot of younger players getting thrusted into the major league level.
So what's the first order of business as president of baseball operations besides getting a bigger office? No, really, what is the first thing you do?
For me, I'm going to probably spend the next 60 to 90 days just assessing exactly where each department is and try to lay out really a strategic plan for all of them moving forward. And in the game of baseball, everything's always moving so fast, and as an ex-player, you remember you're doing it every single day, and it's hard to sort of like take a time out and reflect on really where you want to go. And so I'm going to use this opportunity. Obviously, I want to get through this trading deadline in the next month, but after that, really focus on what we want our departments to look like and put more of a 3 to 5 year plan together and see if we can't fulfill that.
So do you know what you are yet coming up to this trading deadline? You buying or selling?
Yeah, that's a great question. 2 words I don't really like to use in the month of July because I don't always feel like that's the right way to think about it. I look at every sort of decision as an arbitrage, and are we sort of getting a benefit from it? And when you're looking at these types of decisions, whether it's a short-term or long-term asset or gain, if you will, we're really trying to set up our club not only for the next 3 months, but really for the next 3 years.
How is that for a good answer?
I think John's been asked that once or twice prior.
2 balls and 2 strikes here to Pham. Pham, one of those players who's come up, he's produced. Randall Grichuk was sent back down. He's come back up. He's produced for the Cardinals. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Pham, 2 away here in the bottom half of the 5th. 1-0 Cardinals leading the Nationals. Again, we are speaking with the new president of baseball operations for the Cards, John Mozela. And a ground ball to third base to Rendon. Able to field and make the play. John, we appreciate you stopping by, and best of luck in the new role.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
We're through 5 here in St. Louis. 1-0 Cardinals. Meyer, hashtag for the love of hot dogs. And by Domino's. Order online and track your order. We move to the 6th here in St. Louis, 1-0. The Cardinals leading the Nationals, trying to make it 2 in a row over the Nats, and Gio Gonzalez will lead things off against Michael Wacha, who has struck out 7 through the first 5. His season high in strikeouts is 8. And that was back on April the 14th against the Yankees in his second start of the season. There's a good breaking ball, and he's ahead in the count 0-2. Gonzalez struck out looking his first time up. And there is strikeout number 8. So he has tied a season high here now in the 6th. MLB.com app is your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get club branded home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com app today. 1 away here in the 6th. Top of the order, Michael A. Taylor. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Taylor singled his last time up. 1 for 2. Also struck out to open up the ball game.
Well, this is that magic time, the 3rd time around for all big league pitchers. Your elite pitchers are the ones that can get through that 3rd time in the lineup. The Scherzers, the Kershaws. You know, and for a multitude of reasons. It's the 3rd time the hitter gets to see you. Your pitch count's usually been elevated. You're probably a bit fatigued. But Michael Wacha has really been special for these first 2 times. You know, only Anthony Rendon has really hit the ball hard. You see that graphic right there. 353 after the first time around. I mean, and that was one of the reasons there was discussion of, does he go to the bullpen?
Well, there's a new season high in strikeouts, 9 for Wacha on his birthday.
Well, this is just rear back and throw it. And again, he's got that downward plane right there. Feels like he's throwing from way up top. And remember, this is against a ball club that offensively is really the top in the National League.
Now, they are without Trey Turner, but they still have 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. That's just ridiculous.
And it's not like Taylor and Goodwin at the top of the lineup are easy outs. I mean, they've both been swinging the bat well. You mentioned the middle of the lineup. Just thinking about that creates problems.
2 balls, no strikes. The count to Brian Goodwin, who has struck out twice in his first 2 at-bats. Once swinging and once looking. Fastball in the inside corner, 2-1. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I gotta believe we got the changeup away coming up right now. Just threw 2 fastballs. He's been real effective with that pitch. You got the left-handed hitter up. Has all the makings of a changeup low and away. Fastball away.
I'm hoping you weren't a guess hitter.
Well, if you looked at that, what, 270 or whatever the heck it was, I was guessing. It didn't matter if you guessed, you just had to guess right. There's that changeup. I knew it was coming. No, it is interesting, though, sitting in the booth and watching the game, it's 100 times easier than it was playing. And you can see patterns, you see things happen up here. And when you're on the field, it's going too fast.
He misses for ball 4, and that is the first walk of the game issued by Wacha.
He came back with the changeup, just misses. You know, and the interesting thing is, dominant as he has been right now, you know, you're one swing of the bat away from being down by 1 run. This is that middle part of the lineup that we spoke about at the top of the show. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Bryce Harper is 0 for 2. A fly out to center and a ground out to second his last time up. Yadier Molina is going to go out and speak with Michael Wacha. There's Tyler Lyons now getting loose in the bullpen for St. Louis. With a dangerous Bryce Harper at the plate, as you mentioned, though, it's Bryce Harper, then it's Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon.
Right, you have to go after these hitters. You can't try to navigate, pitch around this guy, that guy. All 4 of these hitters have been having excellent years, and just tonight you certainly don't want to get down to Rendon.
Big swing by Harper, 1-1.
Great location there. Outer part of the plate.
Harper to center field. That's a base hit. 1 hop in front of Pham. Stopping at second is Goodwin. First and second, 2 outs here in the 6th for Ryan Zimmerman. And that was hit like a rocket. Zimmerman struck out looking his last time up, flew out to right his first time up. An RBI situation right here with good speed on the bases.
And if you're Michael Wacha right now, if you're Michael Wacha, you're still in a decent situation right here. Make a good pitch. You can live with giving up the singles. You know, right now, obviously, it probably scores a run, but at least with Harper, kept him in the ballpark.
Now he's behind 2 balls and no strikes. And with the lefty warming up in the bullpen and Lyons, you wonder if this is going to be it for Wacha in this inning. If he gets through this inning, maybe he continues.
Well, if I'm Wacha right here, I'm going with the changeup away right now.
Up the middle. DeYoung is right there, steps on the bag, and he gets out of it. So Michael Wacha gets out of the jam. First and second, 2 outs, gets out of it. Game summary, a pitcher's duel between Michael Wacha and Gio Gonzalez. Wacha on his birthday with 9 Ks and 1 walk. Alex Mejia, his first major league hit and RBI. The only run of the game. It's 1-0 Cardinals over the Nationals. Bottom half of the 6th. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros here on Fox. Randall Grichuk leading things off. 2-3-4 in the order against Gonzalez. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Grichuk. Struck out looking his first time up, lined out to short his last time up. And now he pops one foul behind the plate. Wieters giving a look, and this will reach the seats. I don't want to call out fans here, but there is a father who's got to protect his little infant child there.
Well, not when there's a ball in there. All bets are off when there's a potential for corralling a foul ball. I was going to say, you mentioned earlier Grichuk going down to the minor leagues and spending some time in A-ball, and I think more than anything, what that was it was a mental reset. You just get to go down. You see hitting coach John Mabry. That's a great pitch right there.
Curveball for a strikeout. 6th strikeout of the game. In time for a game break. Let's go to LA and check in with Kevin Burkhardt. So it's a pitcher's duel in Houston, a pitcher's duel here in St. Louis, and now a ground ball to second. Murphy, after the bobble, makes the play to retire Jose Martinez, and there's 2 away here in the 6th. Speaking of the Astros, how about the year they're having?
It's been special, and I mean, you look at everything that they're doing. They're probably a starter away, though, from making that real push in the postseason. In the preseason, I like the Dodgers. I like the Astros. That was my World Series pick. I went away from the conventional Cubs-Indians deal, and I still feel, though, they need one more horse. And I think they'll go out and make that move. They've got the farm system to do it. They're right there. They're right on the cusp. I like Keuchel and McCullers, but I need a 3rd guy. I need one more.
Are you worried about McCullers and his innings at all?
I'm not, because I think with their advantage as far as their lead in that division, that they will be proactive and start to limit those innings. I mean, you look at what the Dodgers have done over in the National League. I mean, they're basically running an 8-man rotation. And it's not because they don't have guys that can pitch, but they're trying to limit innings because it's all about getting to the postseason healthy and strong.
1 ball, 2 strike, the count to Jerko. Gio Gonzalez trying to get through 6 innings. The breaking ball's in the dirt, 2-2.
I mean, you remember a few years ago the Washington Nationals ball club and Steven Strasburg, and at the end of the year they had put an innings limit on him, and at the end of the year when they're ready for the postseason, he had run his course. And now what teams are doing is they're working backwards. So guys won't start until May or June, or you'll run this 5 or 6 man rotation.
A 1-2-3 inning for Gonzalez. Daniel Murphy will lead things off in the 7th for the Nats, with his team trailing 1-0. St. Louis, Michael Wacha's night is done. The new pitcher is the left-hander, Brett Cecil. Signed in the offseason to a 4-year, $30.5 million deal, 39 games, 1-2 on the season, 3.82 ERA. 11 walks, 30 strikeouts, and 30 2/3, and he comes in to face the lefty and Daniel Murphy with a 1-0 lead. Murphy 0 for 2. Fly out to center, a pop out to short.
Yeah, Murphy just so quiet at the plate. What I mean by quiet, not a lot of movement, not a lot of room for error. It's just I take that little stride, I get set early, and then I'm just hips and hands.
Daniel Murphy, what he has done with the Nats since coming over from the Mets. He had that incredible postseason.
I'm just looking at that picture right there. You know, I mean, forget the stats. That picture right there, you know, look at the head down, that back arm, the left arm is in the slot, it's bent. That bat has got a slight uppercut. I mean, it's picture perfect. I mean, heck, the stats are, the numbers are impressive too, but holy cow, that picture. You can put that up on your wall.
Lines caught by Voit at first.
When you watch the side swing, it's just boom, that elbow gets down in the slot, rotates the hips through. The problem is you got the big man at first base showing some serious agility. Man, I wouldn't want to be the ground right there.
They even get the Luke chant. FP Santangelo told us that Daniel Murphy's swing reminds him of Wade Boggs. That follow through right there was Wade Boggs.
Yeah, it really does. You know, I had never noticed that. You mentioned FP brought that up to us yesterday, and I'll be darned. You watch the follow through, you watch some tape of him hitting the ball the other way, or pull. It's as if he had just watched Wade Boggs as a kid growing up. You know, the setup isn't the same, but that swing sure is.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Anthony Rendon, a double and a single on the night. Rendon into left, Grichuk. 2 away.
Brett Cecil doing a nice job so far. I think the Cardinals have to be real excited about what Michael Wacha did tonight. You know, he came out, pitched against, again, one of the top offenses in all of baseball. And really no real scoring threat. Again, 1 walk. That's two starts in a row, only 1 walk. 9 strikeouts. You know, I think the thing that impressed me the most, the velocity, the changeup down in the zone. I mean, he looked like the guy that, you know, was throwing in 2013 in the postseason.
Not a bad way to start on your birthday.
No.
Season high in strikeouts in 9, just 1 walk. Stephen Drew, he's over 2, one of those 9 strikeout victims for Michael Wacha. Brett Cecil trying to work a 1-2-3, 7th inning. Good pitch, 1-2.
This pitch out of the zone, bouncing in fact. Stephen Drew offering at it.
Misses with the fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blake Trinan warming up at the pen for the Nats, and there is the 1-2-3 inning for Cecil here in the 7th. It's stretch time here in St. Louis. 1-0 Cards. Sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Crush home runs and dominate in your very own Derby competition in the official MLB.com Home Run Derby game on the App Store and Google Play. Swing for the fences against more than 10 million players from around the world as your favorite Derby All-Star. Download Home Run Derby for free today. Bottom half of the 7th, Yadier Molina singled his last time up to extend his hitting streak to 16 games. Gio Gonzalez still out there, now into the 7th, and now at 97 pitches.
Well, that's what Dusty was hoping for, though. You get him into the 7th inning and give him an opportunity to navigate this ball club through the last few innings. Gonzalez has done a nice job. I think the only thing probably wishes he would have done something other than that fastball to Mejia with Walker on deck. The 3-2 pitch. But he ended up getting him for a single and driving in the only run of the ball game.
Molina spoils it, stays alive at 1-2. Trinan continues to throw out there in the bullpen for the Nats. Seung-Hwan Oh, he's throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals. And Molina just gets a piece of it to stay alive.
Yeah, Molina doing a nice job of fighting off that pitch on the outer part. You know, if you're Gonzalez, you might be able to go inside off the plate. Home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez has been giving him that pitch.
Up high, 2-2. .101 pitches now for Gio Gonzalez. And he gets Molina chasing the high fastball for his 7th strikeout of the ballgame.
Gonzalez just doing a nice job of elevating this pitch out of the zone. Gets Molina to offer at it. And Gio's done a real nice job tonight. Been mixing in that curveball, fastball, both sides of the plate. Hasn't gotten into any real trouble tonight. That's an excellent pitch. Excellent pitch.
Just misses for a ball, but Luke Voigt has scored the only run in the game. Came around on the RBI single by Alex Mejia in the second inning. Lays off the pitch, the appeal to first, and Chris Siegel said he did not go 2-0. By the way,
I was going to say Manny Gonzalez not giving him, not either pitcher, that side of the plate at all tonight.
Here in St. Louis, Cardinal fans, they're familiar with longtime television producer Mike Helling, produced here for 24 years with the Cardinals, just recently retired back in Denver. And Mike, I know you're watching, just wanted to say hello, and we're all thinking of you. All your Cardinal fans and friends miss you here in St. Louis, but we wish you well. Two balls and two strikes. Well, Dusty Baker said to us, if there's one thing he wants out of Gio Gonzalez, it's just a little bit more length. He's trying to get him through 7 right now. He's gone through 6 1/3. The 2-2. Got him looking. 8 strikeouts.
Great location right here. Probably a bit low, especially if I'm a hitter up there. Nice job by Wieters, raising it about 3 or 4 inches after catching it. I tell you though, Gio made 2 great pitches, his first 2 against Voigt. He didn't get the call.
Breaking ball misses to Paul DeJong. DeJong walked his first time up, grounded out to shortstop his last time up. One ball, one strike. The count here to DeJong. That backdoor breaking ball just missing. 2-1.
Tell you, that's an excellent pitch. But as we've seen, you know, Manny Gonzalez behind the plate has been consistent. That side of the plate, it's got to be on the plate. You're not getting an inch or 2 over
there. Back on April the 11th, he went 7 innings, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts and no walks in the win. He's gone 6 2/3 here tonight. 2 hits, a run, 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. But his team trails 1-0. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Paul DeJong with 2 outs in the 7th. He loves throwing to Matt Wieters. The 3-2, and Gio Gonzalez strikes out the side here in the 7th. He started off with Yadier Molina. He got Molina swinging. He got Voigt looking, and then he gets DeJong swinging. Here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. 1-0 Cardinals leading. A new right fielder. Stephen Piscotty comes in, takes over in right. Jose Martinez moves to first as we've got a double switch because a new pitcher, Seung-Hwan Oh, is in the game to face Matt Wieters, and the first pitch is fouled away. 0-1. The numbers on O this year: 1-4, a 3.75 ERA, 36 innings. You see 16 saves and 19 opportunities. No longer the closer for the Cardinals. Waka did the job that he was asked to do. Brett Cecil did the job that he was asked to do. Trevor Rosenthal in the pen, hoping to get a chance to do his job. Going outside, 1-1. Wieters 0 for 2, grounded into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play back in the 5th. There's an outside corner strike. 1-2.
Was looking for that pitch on the 0-1 offering, didn't get it, comes right back, and now ahead in the count.
Stays 1-2. Adam Lynn in the on deck circle. Gio Gonzalez, his night is done. He did his job. Sammy Solis just activated. He's the one warming up in the bullpen.
Oh, staying away from Wieters, knowing that Wieters can put one in the seats. He's got 7 home runs on the year. Oh, just figuring, look at, if he's going to get me, he's going to have to go the other way. He's going inside. He's got to go way in.
Gio Gonzalez between innings going to the dugout. A nice embrace from his teammate Bryce Harper saying, hey, job well done. Let's see if we can pick you up.
Yeah, he pitched a great game today. He really did.
Tied a season high with 9 strikeouts, striking out the side in the 7th. Wieters fouling off pitch after pitch here against O.
Well, that's where he wants to get him out, on the outside part of the plate. Again, that side of the plate has been a little more expansive for pitchers.
Breaking ball, ground ball to first. Unable to make the play is Martinez, who just came in to play first from right field. And Wieters is on. Jose Martinez was working out at first base yesterday with Voit.
Well, you see the footwork not all that good. The first step, and then he stutter steps instead of just striding over to make that backhanded play.
It's an E3 against Martinez. And now here comes the pinch hitter, Adam Lynn.
So you watch the first step. Now you see the 2 stutter steps right there. Instead of just continuing along with a stride, he can easily backhand that. Again, as you mentioned, just coming in from the outfield.
Matt Carpenter given the day off. Pinch hitting this season, great numbers for Lynn. Look at those numbers. That's Mark Sweeney-esque.
Mark Sweeney-esque. I love the reference.
One ball, no strikes to Lind. Last night, 8-1 the Cardinals won here at Busch Stadium. Tonight it's 1-0, a pitcher's duel, but a leadoff error after a defensive change with a double switch. Will it come back to hurt the Cardinals?
Lynn trying to get something up in the air. Obviously looking for something that Gap wants to keep it off the ground, stay out of a double play situation.
By the way, we also have a pinch runner at first base. It's Wilmer Defoe, pinch running for Wieters.
Great location, low and away.
Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'd go right back out there again. You know, this is a ball. It starts off of the plate and ends up a little further out. You know, guys have been getting that call where if it starts over the plate and ends up an inch or 2 out, home plate umpire has been giving the pitchers that call.
Pulled down the right field line, hooking foul. And a nice grab by a fan out there wearing a Stan the Man jersey. Love it. Not even a bobble.
One-handed grab over
Kept
the
beer
railing.
in the hand.
My guess is that's probably not the first beer he's had, and that's a one-handed grab.
He went around. Manny Gonzalez didn't need the check. A big strikeout for O. How frustrating as a hitter is it when the home plate umpire calls you out as opposed to an appeal?
You'd like the appeal, and here we look at this, and you know he went. You just like to have the third base or first base umpire give his 2 cents.
Come on, Mike.
Well, now Michael A. Taylor, 1 for 3, a single and 2 strikeouts on the night. Fastball's outside. As the average up to 281. Out straight back, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You've got Defoe over at first base. You have Molina behind the plate. Do you want to try to run him? You know, the problem is if he does get thrown out, Taylor gets out, then you've got Goodwin leading off next inning, and you don't know if you necessarily get to see that entire middle of the lineup. I want those guys in the middle of the lineup to get an opportunity to hit next inning.
1 and 2. Fouled back. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was a leadoff error that allowed Matt Wieters to get on base. The error by Jose Martinez. And now Taylor strikes out for out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts by O. Tomorrow on ESPN, it's the Esurance All-Star Selection Show. Then on July 9th, it's the Sirius XM All-Star Futures Game on MLB Network, followed by the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on ESPN on July 10th. It all leads up to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game July 11th right here on Fox. And here comes Mike Matheny out to the mound. And this is going to be it for O. With the lefty Goodwin coming in, he's going to go to lefty Lyons out of the bullpen for the Cardinals. Came in because Brian Goodwin was the hitter. Well, that meant that Dusty Baker went to the bench because Tyler Lyons a 3.91 ERA in 23 innings. So Dusty Baker went to the bench to the pinch hitter Ryan Rayburn. 297, a home run, and 1 RBI this year for Rayburn. And that's in 14 games, 37 at-bats.
Not a lot of success, though, against left-handed pitching this year. 217 clip. No extra base hits.
2 away here in the 8th. And the breaking ball's in there to Rayburn for a strike. Chopper to third. Jerko on the run, throws and got him. A high five for Jerko. We go to the bottom of the 8th here in St. Louis. It's still 1-0 Cards. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. Bottom of the 8th inning here in St. Louis. It's a 1-0 ball game. Cardinals lead the Nationals. Left field, Ryan Rayburn, who just came in to pinch hit. He will stay in and play left field. The new catcher is Jose Lobaton. And the new pitcher is Sammy Solis. Solis to face Alex Mejia. First pitch to left field, and that's gone. He had his first hit of his Major League career earlier tonight, and now his first home run of his Major League career.
That's great. These fans acknowledging Mejia like that. Get your first hit, home run. What a night for the kid from Sylmar.
Stephen Piscotty, who came in to play right field, his first at bat. Alex Mejia has accounted for both runs tonight. The RBI single back in the 2nd, now the solo shot here in the 8th. I'm not going to lie. I love what I do for a living. But seeing that and the way the fans just reacted, and to have a curtain call for your first Major League home run, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, no, definitely a feeling there. You know, for him, there's no way he's going to sleep tonight. He's got the adrenaline, the excitement. I mean, just to be able to be composed to go out and play your first game with the at-bats. I mean, there is so much nervousness, the adrenaline, you know, just trying to stay composed so you can go out and compete.
And by the way, that was the first pitch that Sammy Solis has thrown in the big league since April 19th when he went on the DL. Piscotty to third, Rendon. One away.
Well, Mejia doesn't waste any time here. This pitch kind of down and in, and pulls his hands in and kind of shoots that thing out.
Find that man in a blue shirt.
That should be easy tonight, right? I mean, everybody's wearing red. Yeah, you mentioned a great part right there. No better feeling.
Your first Major League home run, where was it?
San Diego, Craig Lefferts. And San Diego just happened to be my hometown team where I grew up in San Diego, and it was my first at bat of my rookie season.
Your first at bat in your rookie season?
Yeah, 1992. Good times, good times.
By the way, there's some negotiating right now.
On. I can get you a Alex Mejia autograph. Well, I was kind of hoping for a Wainwright autograph, maybe a jersey.
Okay, okay. Grip the Moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, official tire of Major League Baseball. It is Anthony Rendon. This was the pop-up. Went into the stands, and then the diving play to get the fielder's choice at second. Flashing the leather, Rendon here tonight. 2 away now for Randall Grichuk. But right now, this inning belongs to Alex Mejia on a night that it's the 26th birthday of Michael Wacha, who went 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. Alex Mejia came into this game with 3 at-bats, was 0 for 3. He's 2 for 3 tonight with an RBI single and a home run. And Randal Grichuk is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and a lineout. High and outside. 1-2. And the best part is for Mejia, they've got a night game tomorrow night, so he doesn't have to worry about sleeping. He can get a nap in. Down the left field line. Grichuk. He'll hit to second, and he'll be in there with a stand-up 2-out double. Well, this is not what Sammy Solis wanted in his return to the major leagues. Coming off the DL.
Now, similar, though, to what Mejia hit, that pitch kind of down and in. Grichuk just kind of golfs that darn thing. And Rendon, no chance.
If he made that play, he should be in the NBA. Now Jose Martinez had the error at first base to lead off the top of the 8th inning. He's 0 for 3. In the dirt, trying to go for third. The tag not in time. Grichuk gets there. He had that secondary lead and he didn't hesitate.
He's safe, but again, I'm not sure that that's the right play. You know, he gets in there with that right hand, and again, you've got 2 outs, and you're fast enough where you're going to score from a base hit. I'm just not really sure that that's worth the risk.
I agree with you.
You know, it's one of the things this Cardinal ball club, they've been aggressive on the base paths, but you know, they've been thrown out 63 times this year in unforced situations.
1 ball and 1 strike here to Martinez. Trevor Rosenthal getting loose in the bullpen, looking for the save here. Right now it's 2-0. Cardinals leading, maybe a chance to add another insurance run. Outside, 2-1. Mejia with that leadoff home run here in the 8th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It seems that's where he's got to stay as far as on that outer part of the plate. That ball runs a bit away from the right-handed hitters. When he's tried to go in with that breaking ball, he's kind of just left it down and in. They've just been hitting the heck out of it. And see, he goes there again. You know, I'm not sure pitch selection there.
That got Lobaton. Doesn't feel good. Manny Gonzalez tries to give him some time. Here comes the trainer for the Nats.
Well, you see what it is.
On the hand.
Well, and you got that right arm exposed. Now you see where that is. Not many catchers are going to have their arm right there.
On the forearm, it looked like.
Yeah, I mean that's not good.
And remember, Lobaton just came in for Wieters.
You know, and here's the kicker. Even if he's able to go, you know how bad that thing is thumping right now? It almost feels like it's got its own heartbeat. You know, that is just no bueno.
Already a welt on the arm. thanks to high definition cameras, you get a really good look at it.
I got to have that arm behind me, though. You know, you can't have that exposed.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Martinez. Runner on third, 2 outs. 2-0. Cards on top. Another foul ball. You can see Lobaton is looking at the arm. He was just clenching the fist.
No, well, I mean, look, where he holds it to, it's really uncharacteristic for catchers. There's a runner on third base, so it's not like the guy's going to be stealing and you're going to have to make a throw.
2-2, ground ball to second. Murphy, the backhand play. That'll do it here in the inning. But Alex Mejia, with a night to remember, had his first major league hit and now his first major league home run. We go to the ninth. The Cards trying to close it out after the curtain call. It's 2-0 St. Louis. All Night in America returns to Fox as Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates take on Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for the Fox game in your area. Then at 10 p.m. Eastern, the Reds take on the Diamondbacks only on FS1. A new first baseman in for the Cardinals. It is Matt Carpenter. A defensive replacement here late. And a new pitcher, it is the closer, Trevor Rosenthal, to face Bryce Harper, and he starts him off with a fastball high and inside. The numbers on Rosenthal, he's 4 of 6 in save opportunities, a 4.25 ERA, 14 walks and 47 strikeouts in 29 2/3 innings.
You know, in his last 4 appearances, though, he's gone 3 innings, given up 4 earned runs. It hasn't been real sharp. But again, this is what the Cardinals have decided to do. Rosenthal is the guy. I mean, there was even some talk that maybe some clubs would be looking at Rosenthal for maybe somebody that they'd like to add.
Well, nothing like getting back in that closer position and having to face Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, Daniel Murphy, and Anthony Rendon in the 9th. Fortunately, he's got a 2-run lead, not a 1-run lead. But Bryce Harper singled his last time up, 1 for 3. On the inside corner, 2-2. These Nats will not go down without a fight. Speaking of which, happy belated birthday to Abby Bortnick, who's battling breast cancer right now. And Abby, keep on fighting. A big Nationals fan watching right now. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Harper. Down the left field line. And that's out of play.
Again, that home run by Mejia last inning, huge. As you mentioned, the middle part of this lineup, Rosenthal has to face. And one swing of the bat could have tied it. Now at least he got a little breathing room.
'99 by Rosenthal.
See Harper battling right there. Got the sweet batting gloves on tonight. The Under Armour red, white, and blue. The holiday gloves.
I like how you came with the red, white, and blue get up as well.
Holiday season, that's all I can say.
Ooh. That one bounced about 58 feet. Harper able to get out of the way. 3-2 now the count.
You know, and this is the thing, if you're Rosenthal, I'm throwing a fastball right down the middle of the plate. If Harper hits it out, so be it, but I am not walking it. No way am I walking it.
Well, he did just walk him, and that will bring the tying run to the plate. It's the formula that Matheny wanted. He got a great start out of Waka. Cecil came in, did the job. O did the job. Lyons got an out. And now Rosenthal issued a walk to the first batter he faces, and here's Zimmerman, who's 0 for 3. And now a timeout is called by Yadier Molina. Wants to go out and speak with Trevor Rosenthal.
Yeah, the formula was going great until Bryce Harper showed up, and he ends up walking him. Again, that's the last thing, and he knows that. You know, he's not out there trying to walk him, but sometimes you get too fine, and you know, Molina just trying to calm him down, just let him catch his breath a little bit, have an opportunity to reset. You know, just as we mentioned, though, at the top of the show, this middle of the lineup is what drives this Nationals ball club. You got Harper on first base, Zimmerman, Murphy, and Rendon to follow.
Matt Bowman is up in the pen already for the Cardinals. 1 ball and 1 strike to Zimmerman.
I mean, that's a thing. You can tell just where this Cardinals ball club is. Rosenthal is your closer. Sending him out. He walks the first guy, got somebody up. You don't think Rosenthal is aware of that?
One and 2 to Zimmerman.
2 nice pitches right there by Rosenthal. Got to stay away. If Zimmerman beats me, he's going to have to beat me to right field.
Got him with the off-speed pitch for the first out.
Again, he knows Zimmerman is the type of guy that with one swing of the bat can tie the game. This fastball leaks inside. After Yair goes out to talk to him, he stays away. You see where Yair sets up. It's outside, outside, and then he comes back with the changeup.
One away. Doesn't get any easier with Daniel Murphy.
Set up away.
Change up. I like that. I love the call by Yachty.
Well, you have to, and you're trying to use the hitter's aggressiveness against him. You know, as a hitter in this situation, you want to be the guy that drives one out of the park. You're anxious to pull something, to yank something over the fence.
Couldn't lay off the pitch at 97, 0-2.
Yeah, you've got to be disciplined enough to know that, look, he's not going to try and throw you middle of the plate or inside. He's going to go away, and you've got to be cognizant of that. And just, hey, I'm going to take that. I'll take the single and keep the line moving.
Yachty says, timeout. I want time. Murphy lined out to first base his last time up on a diving play by Voit. Ground ball through the hole on the right side. Harper takes a turn. He'll hold up at second. It's first and second, one out here in the ninth. And the guy that Dusty Baker wants up in these situations is coming up.
You see Molina wants his pitch on the outer half of the plate. He leaves it over in the middle, the inside part. Completely misses his spot. And as you mentioned, now really the most dangerous hitter, Anthony Rendon. He uses his hands great, and this is a guy that we've seen earlier in the game. If that pitch is away, he'll shoot it to right. If I'm him right now, I'm thinking Rosenthal is going to throw away. That's where he's going to throw. So I'm looking for something up in the zone, away to drive to right center. That's what I'm sitting on.
Look at the lead at first base. The ball is hit to first base. Carpenter, Rosenthal over. He doesn't get on the bag. They get the out at second. Chris Siegel said he was off the bag. It's a good call. Rosenthal just couldn't find the bag. If he finds it, they turn that 3-6-1 double play to end the ball game.
Really a tough play for a pitcher to get over there, find the bag, and try to receive the throw from second base. Nice play by Matt Carpenter, though. Again, Mike Matheny inserted for defensive purposes.
Now Stephen Drew with runners on the corners, 2 outs, 2-0, St. Louis leading. The Cardinals trying to make it 4 in a row, 6 of their last 7. The Nats trying to avoid 3 straight losses. Harper led off with a walk. A fielder's choice for Rendon. Line drive into left field. Harper will score. 1-run ball game, first and second. That leadoff walk comes around to score. An RBI single for Stephen Drew.
Again, Drew doing a nice job knowing what they're trying to do to him. Going to set up away, get something up in the zone. And again, it's an RBI spot. The pitcher is going to try to throw the ball away. Very rarely are they confident enough to come to the inner part of the plate. Again, if I'm up there in an RBI situation, I'm looking for something up and away to drive the other way.
Now Jose Lobaton is the hitter here. He did not go says Mark Carlson at third base. Remember, Lobaton took that foul ball off his right forearm. He now has that welt with some tape on it. This was him taking the ball off the bat of Jose Martinez, the foul ball, and that swelled up right away. So here he is coming up with a tying run at second. 2 outs in the ninth. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. Let me ask you a question. As a pitcher, as the battery, you know the injury to his arm. What pitch is most effective against him?
Well, I'm still, if I'm pitching right now, I'm going away. I'm going to go away.
They go away. They get the strike at 98.
Especially like a guy like Lobaton. I'm figuring, okay, I'm gonna use his aggressiveness, his wanting to be a hero against him. You know, I'm saying that I don't think he's going to be disciplined enough to look for that pitch on the outer part of the plate.
2-2. They will come to their feet here at Busch Stadium. Mejia has both RBIs in the ball game. His home run leading off the last inning. Right now, the difference. Just missing outside at 100. 3-2, and the runners will be off with a pitch.
Just off the plate. Again, in that side of the zone, Manny Gonzalez, a home plate umpire, has been pretty liberal with.
Rendon has good speed at second. He is the tying run. There they go. The 3-2 is pulled foul.
You know, and that's one of the things that with Rosenthal is he just hasn't been able to hit his spots. I mean, the pitch to Murphy that got a hit, you know, Molina set up outside, leaves it over the middle of the plate. That pitch right there, Molina outside, leaves it over the middle of the plate.
Matheny looking on. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Jose Lobaton. The runners go again. The 3-2's in the dirt. Bases are loaded. Second walk of the inning issued by Rosenthal. Here comes Matheny. And that's going to be it for Trevor Rosenthal. Matt Bowman is coming in with the bases loaded, 2 outs in a 2-1 ball game. stadium, people are biting their nails. They're on their feet. They can't believe what they're seeing because the bases are loaded. Trevor Rosenthal has been pulled in favor of Matt Bowman. This would be his first major league save. He's 1-3 with a 4.19 ERA. Rendon, the tying run at third. Stephen Drew at second, the go-ahead run. Lobaton at first. And the pinch hitter is Adrian Sanchez. Made his major league debut last night. This is his first career at bat. And he comes up swinging.
I mean, the only thing the young man can do right now is take deep, slow breaths, try and calm himself down.
You want some drama? We got some here in St. Louis. Bowman's ahead in the count, 0-2. Adrian Sanchez has played 914 career minor league games. Those are his career minor league numbers. This is his first major league at bat. Trying to come through in a big way for the Nationals. He finds himself in a big hole, 0-2 against Matt Bowman. He stays alive.
I'd almost have to go away from him right now. I mean, here's a kid, he thrust into his first at bat. The bases are loaded. It's a national game on TV, and I'd start away. I'd throw it away. Anything inside, he's going to stay right in there and fight it off.
Oh, 2, they go away. He lays off it, 1-2. You wonder with a guy in his first major league at bat, could you throw something like a slider to get him to chase? But if you put it in the dirt and it gets by Yachty, it's a tie game.
It ain't getting by Yachty. I mean, maybe you try to elevate, go out of the zone, hope he chases.
Like you said, it ain't getting by Yachty.
Ain't getting by Yachty.
That was amazing right there.
What, my ability to analyze a baseball game? Is that what you were talking about was amazing?
I just love the way Yachty slide. I mean, just blocks out with a chest protector. Oh, that was beautiful.
I got to go high fastball out of the zone right here. That's where I go. I go up and out of the zone.
Inside, 3-2.
I'm going 3-2 up high. I'm going a little bit out of the zone because this guy is swinging, right? There's no 3-2, bases loaded. All the adrenaline, the excitement.
Adrian Sanchez, his first major league at bat. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. The runners go, the 3-2, and he stays alive.
I mean, I don't know how you could have the discipline to take a walk. In this situation, your first at bat, bases are loaded, the excitement.
Both guys taking deep breaths. Another foul ball. Bowman's looking for his first save. Sanchez is looking for his first hit or an RBI with a walk.
Remember, the play is going to have to be at first base. Runners will be moving.
Mejia's home run, the difference.
You watch his last pitch. Watch who calls this strike. It's not the home plate umpire, it's Molina. Watch. He's the first one to call it. Look at this. Yeah, I got it. Home plate umpire hasn't even called it. Molina, again, doing a great job of selling it.
What a ball game here. St. Louis defeats the Nationals 2-1. For Eric Karros, I'm Justin Kutcher saying so long from St. Louis. Coming up after this quick break, we'll take you to LA. Kevin Burkhardt in our studio. What a night here in St. Louis.